Hello and welcome to NSN Connect, and this is the fourth episode in the series School Level Vocational Education, where we are discussing few important aspects of implementing school level vocational education in the backdrop of NEP 2020. In the last episode, we looked at key recommendations of NEP 2020, and today we are going to carry forward the same with few examples. So in this episode, Professor Vinay Swarup Mehrotra is going to give us few interesting examples about how pre-vocational education can be utilized in a meaningful way to inculcate respect for certain job roles, to inculcate the dignity of work, and many more aspects that are much needed to make skilling and vocational education aspirational in India. Sir, I think you have given us a complete picture of the activities of PSSCIVE Bhopal in the backdrop of how NEP 2020 is kind of coming up with many radical changes, like you talked about integrating with the mainstream education, followed by many important points. Among these, I have picked up a few most important and essential ones for schools. One is the recommendation that there has to be sensitization towards vocational education, where we are talking about bagless days and the how this can be implemented. I think PSSCIV, as I'm aware, has come up with a handbook and a guidelines also for this. So this is one, and the other one is to do with preparing teachers for delivering these programs. I mean, how are we equipping them, like in terms of teacher education? And also, I think some of our audience would also know, whoever is familiar with the activities of PSSCIV Bhopal, that you also had a lot of work being done in pre-vocational, right? You had also come up with curriculum and courseware for pre-vocational. So maybe you can give us information on these three areas that could be useful to many people in approaching you or in taking help, and also looking for any other partnership.
So, as you know, the National Education Policy 2020 has emphasized on bagless days and internship programs to be taken up in the schools with the help of master craftspersons or master trainers who are there already in the world of work. So, for example, if we have potters around the school, we can invite these potters to our schools, or students can be taken to their place, workplace where they are doing pottery. And we can see all around our market, there are a lot of people who are doing pottery work, even housewives, they've taken it as a hobby. So these housewives can also be invited, those who are already into this pottery can be invited to the schools to train our students on how to make pots, for example, or glasses of clay or innovative materials that can be. So this will actually enhance the creativity of the child. It will also help him to do problem solving, taking critical decisions regarding, for example, selection of soil or the clay, what kind of clay is to be taken, how much water is to be incorporated into that. All those things they will be learning. Not just about the soil that we teach through our textbooks. They would also be knowing how the soil can be utilized for the various vocations. So I was mentioning about this, the need for training our students or giving them vocational exposure right in early age. And this is possible. I mean, if we organize activities in the schools with the help of the experts, craftspersons, or artisans, which are already there, and these students will get exposed to the variety of skills that are required in the world of work. So early exposure, that is one thing. They will also be knowing about the various vocations that exist in the world of work.
Yeah.
I will give one example of this. We did a research in one of the districts of Madhya Pradesh. We went to schools. There was a lack of awareness about the various occupations Most of the students talked about doctor, engineers, or getting into army, becoming an army man, or getting into air force or navy.
Yeah.
But when we talked about the other occupations, they were not aware of. They said we are not aware that there are other kinds of occupations in which we. So this is basically lack of awareness
Hmm.
on the variety of occupations which are available in the world. So we need to generate awareness amongst our students. So using popularization folders, pamphlets, all these things on occupations which are there, by inviting people from professions, like for example, pilot, you know, and
Yeah.
different other sectors like sales associate from the retail sector, cashier from the retail sector, or from the bank. People from the bank, they can come and tell about themselves, that what they do and what is the occupation all about, how much earning that they can do, what are the various products and services that they provide to the society. So children would become aware of the plethora of choices that are in. Then they can make an informed choice of the vocation in which they would like to get. The this can also solve the problem of the dropouts.
Hmm.
Why I'm saying so is in one of the schools of Kerala, where they started doing agriculture in the school, they started growing marigold. And this marigold was all around, so they harvested it, they sold it also. And children used to come to the school. I mean, the enrollment started increasing. The attendance rate also went high because they were loving coming to the school.
Hmm.
They wanted to do some activity, especially when they were seeing flowers around. They were very happy. So
Okay.
you create an environment in the school of that kind where children would like to come, and this is very important aspect. Why children they don't want to come to the school? Because they are afraid of maths,
Hmm.
language, all those subjects. So how do we attract them to the schools? By organizing all these activities, and through these activities we can teach them. So when you are talking about pre-vocational education, there are two aspects that we have covered in the guidelines. One is theme-based activities. Like for example, uh, the teachers all together, they organize vermicompost production in the school. So they are doing vermicomposting. Through that, they are teaching science,
Hmm.
language, social science, maths. So calculation of the area of the tank. For example, if it is a circle, then they say, okay, what is the area of the circle?
Hmm.
If it is rectangular, then they say, what is the area of the rectangle in which we are going to do this activity? So those kind of things can be discussed. Those science teacher will say, it's not just about earthworms, but there are other microorganisms which helps to convert these biodegradable waste into compost. So those kind of statements can be made by the science teacher. Now, social science teacher would say, Aristotle once said that earthworms are the friends of farmers. Now justify the statement? How they are friends of farmers?
Hmm.
So the concept or the values related to teamwork would automatically get into this. So they are teaching social science, science, languages, maths, all these things can be taught through these theme-based activities. The second aspect which we have suggested is related to the sectors.
Hmm.
Now, for example, agriculture, IT, ITS, retail, construction, plumbing, power, all these sectors, beauty and wellness, can be taken up in the schools. Now, wherever this vocational courses are being offered, we can start with those activities related to that sector. Say, for example, if I'm offering as a school agriculture and IT as subjects for the vocational education, we can start activities related to agriculture and IT. If we are offering IT and beauty and wellness, then we can start activities related to beauty and wellness, where students can lay hands on doing makeup, nail art. Nail art is a very good thing that they can learn a lot of designs through that. Creativity increases, enhances through that.
Yeah.
In agriculture, they can take a lot of interest with regard to research. I mean, they can start doing small research. Like they can, put some 5 or 6 pots, do some experiments with regard to application of fertilizers or the chemicals. Like how we can, they will also learn how we can replace some of those chemicals, like fertilizers, instead of using chemical fertilizers, how we can promote organic farming, what are the various materials that we can use, like cocoa pit and all those things. So uh, these activities will actually help a child to understand the importance of materials that are around, how to deal with people, and how to sell the product. That is another very important dimension that we need to emphasize in the school is marketing of products and services. Service sector has grown because it is intangible. So people are ready to pay for that, but instead of the products that we get, they compare,
Yeah.
one product with the other, and you have to lower down your price and all those things, those juggleries has to be done, I would say.
Yeah.
But in service, they dictate that this is what, and that is why if you build a house now, the labor cost is much higher than the raw materials.
Mm.
So this is because we are heading towards standardization. We are going to pay more for the services today, and this will actually benefit the vocational education and training per se. The
Mm.
people who are into this workforce, especially the skilled workforce, they will be very much benefited in the future if they acquire all those skills which are needed in the automated system of construction, retail, and other sectors. Uh, Even agriculture, which has always been said to be unorganized, is getting organized and it has now become an industry. So agriculture industry has a lot of scope in terms of employing people who are trained, not just trained in the skill-based activities, but also ICT, IT, and all those technology.
Yeah. Yeah, and another important area I think where you are contributing is the training of teachers, teacher education in the
Yes,
vocational segment. So we are aware that you also have a diploma program, right, for teachers
yes.
to enroll and get oriented towards teaching vocational subjects. So is there something you can share with us so that the larger audience gets to know in case they are interested to become a vocational trainer or teacher? Let's say, for example, there are people who are very passionate about teaching few of these trades, that we have just discussed, or there could be industry people who might want to try out their hands at teaching. And here I think, irrespective of who's teaching, the practical component I think is most critical in any vocational subject. So, how does the course or how do your programs address this?
That's a very good question that you have asked. In fact, I wanted to talk about this, but then you have asked it. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for asking that question. So we are running this diploma in vocational education
Mhm.
training for developing the professional skills of the existing vocational teachers, as well as those who have a passion for vocational education training. So there's no rider, I would say, in terms of having a background of vocational education.
Hmm.
So anyone can opt for this. That is one a key feature, I would say, of this training program. The second is it is in distance come contact mode. So it's a 1 year program with elements of distance and contact mode. So why we have done this is that getting teachers for 1 year at a place, it's a very difficult task because they have their own assignments. They have to teach, they have to conduct examination, assessment, and all is to be done, certification and all those things. So they are involved in a lot of activities in their schools, it's very difficult for them, particularly when we are talking of the in-service training program, for getting them into this place at PSSCIV and training.
Hmm.
So as a regular feature, we are doing programs for 5 days as of now for in-service teachers. But this is 1 year training program which we have designed to impart continuous training to these teachers or those who are interested in getting trained on vocational pedagogy, domain specific skills. So we have both the elements, both for vocational pedagogy as well as domain specific skills in certain areas. Another very important dimension is that these teachers, once they get trained, they can become master trainers in the states, and they can do the training for other teachers. So this is another. We would also like that the states should give incentive or promotion to these those who have already done this diploma in vocational education training. We are also working on collaborating with universities and colleges for running this diploma in vocational education so that we can expand. As of now, we have a strength of like 40 candidates who can be involved in this training. But then we would like to make it 400 or 4,000 in the future so that more and more teachers can benefit from this, not just the vocational teachers, but also general education teachers and other people or youth who are looking for opportunities in training students on vocational skills.
In this episode, you saw how simple forms of work like pottery or vermicomposting has huge potential to teach many skills to the children. And that's the power of skills, right? So the curriculum which is going to come up for the vocational segment, as you can see, has a lot of potential to utilize it in meaningful ways so that we sensitize the young minds and inculcate a sense of dignity of work and many other values. In case you wish to know more, do write to Professor Mehrotra or you can write to us. We'll be very happy to share more information concerning any of the queries you have. And if you found this useful, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from us.